Hey, what's up, guys? NullRage here, and today we're taking a look at some changes coming through the pipeline for Emma Frost. As with my Electra video, this is very early test center, so keep that in mind as we go through this. Many of the, you can see the icons here still have placeholder axe heel dropkick, placeholder mega slap, placeholder stepford circle. Alright, so this is very early test center. Keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and have a look at the changes. Astral Bolt here is just going to do some mental damage. We'll go over this like it's a old character. I guess I've skipped the synergy. The synergy remains the same as when it got changed before. It used to be something was pretty not great, so they changed it. 3% damage over time, and then 1% or +1 durability attribute, which is going to be good for tanky characters. With Emma Frost, she's got sort of two mutations. She's a really strong telepath and telekinetic, and then she developed a secondary mutation, which is the ability to turn her skin to diamond, and so that gives her the sort of interesting back and forth yin yang kind of damage, teleport or telekinesis kind of damage output, sort of range DPS character, or the in your face brawler sort of tankish character with the diamond skin. They do not. I don't think they are still doing the maybe you want to do both kind of thing. I think that's sort of been, done away with, and you're going to choose one or the other. I'm not 100% sure, though. We'll go through these skills, and hey, if you come up with an awesome build that does both, then let me know in the comments below. Alright, so Astral Bolt, mental damage, and it's your basic ranged attack, restore some spirit. There it is. About the same as it used to be, I think. Alright. Then we've got Telepathic Torment, which is going to do mental damage twice per second, apply vulnerability, and apply a slow. Very good skill for her Omega Telepath tree. I believe, though, this is the same as it was before, as it was pretty great before. Psybolt here is going to do mental damage, but one thing to note that's changed about it is not a basic power anymore. Therefore, it uses spirit and can be used quite well in end-game builds. Still has the same awesome AoE range that it had before. Just now you'll get the damage increase because it's not a basic power anymore. Then we've got Psychic Blast here, which is going to do physical damage in a cone effect in front of you. It's like physical damage? Interesting. Huh. There's a physical damage skill in her mental tree. Alright then. Well, maybe... Is there a mental... We'll look for a mental damage skill in her physical tree later. I don't think there's going to be one, but we'll see. Maybe that's... I don't know if that's 100% intended. I mean, this is early test center. But anyway, there is Psychic Blast. It's going to do... just damage over time to anything that it hits. Damage 4 times per second, 4 hits per second with the skill, and the damage increases with attack speed. Again, I don't know if that physical damage is bug or intended. Can't be 100% sure there. Alright, then we've got Sudden Dread, going to do mental damage and apply a Terrify effect. And we've got something else that's going to interact with it later. But here's Sudden Dread. It is now ranged. That's the big thing about this skill, is you can use it at range, and it can be a nice... You can spam it at range, because it doesn't have that cooldown that it used to have, I believe. So that's cool. And then we've got a Drain Psyche, which is a single target Spirit Spender kind of skill. Psybolt being a great AoE Spirit Spender, Drain Psyche probably a better single target Spirit Spender. Damage 4 times per second. Damage increases with attack speed, and let's see, 20% against enemies affected by your damage over time effects. So anything with a dot is going to take 20% extra damage. This will also regen health per second. This is a great skill. for boss killing. After you've done all of your other cooldown abilities, you've applied your dots and whatnot. This is what you're going to fall back on to do damage. And before you sort of had this, well, do I use this or do I use Psybolt? Because Psybolt was basic and it was just easier to use Psybolt. I use Psybolt. But now Drain Psyche is definitely going to be worth using on single targets, I feel. I don't know if they've really changed it that much, but I'm definitely going to use it after this review. Alright, mental damage, and then it's got an execute mechanic. This is Astral Whip. It's got a this is the new thing with Emma, is she has some cooldown skills in her build now, which she didn't have before. It's got an 8-second cooldown, and it's shared with Diamond Backhand over here. So you can see shared cooldown with Astral Whip, and Diamond Axe Heel Kick has a shared cooldown with Psychic Spear. Sort of, even further cementing that idea that you pick one or the other. You don't flop back and forth between Omega Telepath and Diamond Paragon like you could do before with the hybrid builds. Alright, I'm going to do some mental damage, and it's got the execute, and it's got a really awesome animation. I really like this animation. Let's see if we can use it one more time here. And again, huge line area effect, I guess. It's sort of like a very small, a very narrow cone, you can see. Pretty cool skill. Alright, then we've got Psychic Spear, rather, not Sphere. It's going to do mental damage, and also Sudden Dread also applies damage over time effect when used within the next 8 seconds. So it provides an 8-second buff for your next Sudden Dread. Alright, so you use Sphere, and then you Sudden Dread and apply a damage over time effect, which stacks with your Telepathic Torment, giving you 2 dot layers to work in with Omega Telepath, and it's really cool. And you're going to want to use this anyway because it does nice burst damage for a... or rather, it will do nice burst damage. I think the damage on it is actually a little bit low, but the devs have already said they're bringing the cooldown power damage up from what I saw in the forums. So you're going to want to use this every cooldown, and then you're going to want to use Sudden Dread right after it, and keep that dot up as well. Have a whole bunch of dots going on while you're doing maybe some other AoE, or maybe just Drain Psyche on a single target with the Omega Telepath tree. And that's pretty much it. Now we've got the Hellfire Headmistress, and I'm going to go out here and tame somebody. Because you guys know that with this tree, you get to tame somebody. You get to go out there and summon, take control of a minion's mind. That's going to be this first skill. Let me just, real quick, go to somewhere easy. I don't have any gear on, so I don't really want a big strong person, because they might kill me. But I will take this guy, this MGH Brute here. There we go. Alright, he is mine now. And that is sort of how this skill here works. Psychic Domination is, it just allows you to control, you do some damage over time to one target, and then if they drop below 20%, you enslave them. They become your minion, and their base damage is increased by 4,000, their move speed is increased by 100%, and their base health is increased by 500%. So they're this really strong minion, or a really strong version of the minion that they were. So that's really cool. The one thing to note here when you're taming things, I'm pretty sure you can only target normal, elite, or mini-boss non-summoned biological enemies. So no bosses, that's out. You can target mini-bosses. However, if this works the same way that it worked before, if you target any enemy you target, it runs the stats up off of the base type of that enemy, sort of. So let's say you summon, you found a mini boss out there, and there was a mini boss version of an enemy that was, had a normal and elite version. It would just, having the mini boss wouldn't really make him any stronger than the regular version would be. Now, I don't know if that's still the way it works. If maybe you want to hunt for, those special powered enemies, special powered mini boss enemies in Danger Room, would be a great way to get some really strong allies from this skill, maybe. But again, I can't say for certain if that works the way it used to work, or if it works this new way where things could actually be as strong as they are when you find them. I don't know. What I do know is you can now right-click this skill to unsummon your pet at any time. This is great because Inspire Minion and the skill that used to explode your minion, so it would make him die, does not make him die anymore. So if you want to get rid of a summon, you're definitely going to have to right-click Psychic Domination and dismiss them permanently. It even has a notice that comes up to make sure you want to do that. Alright, let's summon this guy. Come here. You are my mugger friend. Wait, did I break him? I don't know what happened there. There we go. Alright, he's done. Alright. So I guess he doesn't move or something. Do you guys move? Here we go. Okay. I have to break them out of their non-moving state before I can... Spider-Man gonna kill my minion? I hope not. Alright. Next we've got running and heals. This is an interesting... I love the flavor on this skill, personally. It allows her to have a movement ability other than her Diamond Dash, knee of justice thing that she's had forever, which is the way all Emmas get around, to something much more stylish. Much more stylish. And it probably takes a lot of skill, right? I don't know. I don't know. Any of y'all ever tried to run in heels? I have no idea. Alright, so next we've got Force of Will here, which becomes a different skill when you exit Diamond form. So I'm in Diamond form right now. There are a couple of these skills that change based on whether or not you're in Diamond form. Let's look at the non-Diamond form version first, and that's going to be Telepathic Mastery here, which is going to give us mini-map vision. It's going to give us some mental damage rating and some damage rating versus enemies not targeting you, some critical hit and a critical damage as well, and then also applies Constitution to the team. There's the scaling on that. You can see it's also your CC breaker. So anytime you get stunned, you want to use that. Now it has a Diamond form version. You'll notice anytime you use a Diamond skill, if you don't already know this, some of you may, anytime you use any skill from the Diamond Paragon tree, you will be put into Diamond form, and Diamond Armor will be in effect, reducing incoming damage while in Diamond form. Diamond Armor regenerates when striking enemies while in Diamond form, and you have to use Diamond form skills, Diamond Paragon skills, to stay in Diamond form. If you use any skill from Omega Telepath, then you will be brought out of Diamond form. I guess I should have covered that at the beginning. I guess I assumed it was known. Alright. So let's look at this Diamond version of Force of Will here. So this now... Oh, that's pretty cool. It gives you +2 strength. It increases your physical damage. It still increases... it switches from enemies not targeting you to enemies targeting you, because you've got a number of taunts in the Diamond Paragon tree. And it still gives you that crit hit rating and critical damage rating, and gives you accuracy, instead increasing your crit hit and critical damage rating instead of Constitution, like the other one did. Alright, and at any time, if you want to pop that Constitution real quick to get some heals or something like that on your team, then you can just, pop a quick Omega Telepath tree skill, and that'll pull you out, and you'll have Constitution in effect. Alright, next we've got Frenzied Confusion, which is going to confuse enemies and deal... they deal extra damage to each other. It's just a... an AoE of confusion. Can we find some enemies here? Here we go. Alright, attack each other. Yep, there we go. Those ninjas, ninja death bite. It's like I had that. There's an artifact that summons two ninjas to duel to the death. I just did that without the artifact. That was hilarious. Let's get rid of... Actually, no. No, we need him for the next skill. For the next skill, we need him. Alright, Inspire Minion here is our next skill. And it has... Inspire Minion and Mental Overload have been wrapped up into one. And now, what it's going to do is going to pop Inspire Minion, taunting any enemies around your pet to come and attack him, while doing mental damage around him for so much damage twice per second. And then after 12 seconds, it only taunts for 5 seconds, but after 12 seconds, they will explode, doing mental damage, overload damage, huge burst of AoE. It's got a 30-second cooldown that it didn't have before, because it's now a very, very strong cooldown skill. Let's, I guess, go in here. These guys are weak. These guys are weak. Let's just go back to the... I think I can take this guy back to the training room. I don't know. I encountered a bug earlier that wouldn't let me use Inspire Minion after bringing... Yep, it's still in effect. If you zone, then your minion, you can't use Inspire Minion on him. So I am gonna have to go summon a new... have to go get a new guy. Alright, so let's go prologue. We'll just go back here. Alright, yeah, I still can't use it. After zoning, it stops. That is a bug, and hopefully that'll get worked out. Let's go summon a... control a new guy here. Alright, now we got this big strong guy. So he's under my control now, and he's really weird. He wants to follow too closely. Alright, Inspire Minion, go! So he's going to run around doing mental damage to anything around him, anything that gets close. He doesn't seem to have a basic attack. So this mugger is a very bad enemy to tame. But there he goes. After 12 seconds, he explodes, doing damage to everything in a large area. So it sort of wrapped Inspire Minion together with Mental Overload. I kind of like this. I don't like the period of time where I am without a pet. You can see about the time that the cooldown comes back up, he's back up. You know, he has revived and can now be used as another bomb. But there is a period of time where you are without a pet. You know, after he explodes and does this mental overload. So I'm going to be running around without a pet for 15 seconds, because he came back up at about the time that Inspire Minion comes off cooldown. And this period of time is going to make Emma very vulnerable. Now, you've sort of got a little bit of a trade-off there. Maybe that's fair, considering that you did this huge burst of damage with Mental Overload. I don't know. When I played Emma Frost back in the day, what I would do is just, you know, pick a pet and only use Inspire Minion. I never used Mental Overload. So the fact that I'm now having to use Mental Overload is one of my big, as part of Inspire Minion, sort of not cool for me. Anyway, that's enough of the pet stuff, I believe. Yeah, that is all of the pet powers, so let's go on back to the training room so we can fight enemies that don't die in one shot.
I need a latte.
Alright. Now, one thing that I've also noticed is there is no real benefit. Like, let's say you wanted to play petless. You didn't want a pet at all. You're hurting yourself by doing that. By not having any pet at all, you are reducing the amount of damage that you do. Now, it would be cool if there was like a effect on Psychic Domination that said if you don't have a pet, all of your powers do this much more damage. Or something like that. You know, that way you could choose to play petless if you wanted. Alright. Next, we've got Kneel before me. This is her signature. It's going to do the same thing it used to do. It looks like, yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same. Mental damage, and then it has, it said something special on it. Take 100% less damage while its power is active. Right. Makes you completely invulnerable, but also regenerates and restores spirit. Has a 30-second cooldown. Huge mental damage. It also, anybody that is in the area gets brought to their knees and they kneel before Emma Frost before being explodicated in the face with that huge mental energy. Alright, next we've got Unlock Potential. This used to be over here, I think, but it's now over here and has been combined with some nice team effects. It does share a cooldown with Inspire Minion, meaning if you want to focus on increasing your own damage, then you'd go with Unlock Potential, whereas if you want to focus on increasing your minion damage, you'd go with Inspire Minion. And they both got that 30-second cooldown on them. Now this may be enough to sort of negate that thing that I was just talking about, where I wish there was some extra base damage on here. Maybe just using Unlock Potential instead of having a pet is gonna do enough of that. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it'd be enough, because it's a Actually, I think this the damage that increases your own powers by, I think it's just a passive. I don't think you have to activate anything for that power damage, that power increase to affect you. However, maybe you do. Maybe it's only on active that it increases your power. But anyway, when you activate it, it's going to apply protected to all allies and yourself. It's also going to conceal you. So you're going to take less damage. You're also going to be invisible. There it is. And if either of those effects, they're protected and concealed, can only be applied to any target once every 30 seconds. So you're going to want to make sure to talk with people in your teams. If you're doing raids, then make sure you're not doubling up on these skills and canceling out their effects. You probably only want one person running with something like this. This is a pretty great one, though. Unlock Potential here. Applying protected and concealed to anybody in a large area of effect. Again, though, I'm not 100% sure whether the damage that it increases your own powers by is in effect all the time or only when you activate it, because it doesn't really say the duration. I know the other effects last for 5 seconds, but does that mean the damage that increases your own powers by is only a 5-second buff? I'm not 100% sure on this, guys. Alright, moving on, we've got the Diamond Paragon tree. We've got Lustrous Lunge here, physical damage and damage increased by defense. So this is going to be the Diamond Paragon tree. You're going to want to only use skills that keep you in diamond form. I'm going to actually keep Astral Bolt over here, just so I can get out. One thing to note about diamond form and the diamond skill. Here's the diamond lunge. Real quick. I'm sure you guys remember that. Diamond skin and diamond armor, it reduces damage you take. I think is it all damage, or is it only physical? I don't know. The armor does not actually seem to be getting reduced when I take damage right now. But normally, this bar here, every time you take a hit, will go down, and the amount of diamond armor you have will reduce, and you will take less damage from that attack for trading that diamond armor. Now, when you are out of diamond form, when you're in regular form, your armor bar will regenerate automatically. When you are in diamond form, it will not regenerate automatically, however, and you'll have to use certain abilities like Diamond Skin here to instantly regenerate all of your diamond armor. You've also got during the active effect duration for Diamond Skin here, you gain twice as much diamond armor from attacks. You gain a huge amount of total defense rating, and you taunt everything around you. It's got a passive on it. This power becomes Diamond Mind when you exit Diamond form. Oh, we didn't talk about that. That actually relates to the Omega Telepath tree, so we should look at that before we go into Diamond form. This has an active effect on it that regenerates 15% health and spirit. You're probably going to be using this with the Omega Telepath or Hellfire Headmistress tree. I think Hellfire Headmistress is here just to buff like either one. You're going to choose one or the other, and then Hellfire Headmistress is going to apply some supplement skills to whatever you're doing with your Emma Frost. Alright, so health and spirit, 15% per second. How long does it last? 3 seconds. So, pretty good amount. What is that? 45% health and spirit? That's pretty nice. Also applies invisibility, and it is your defense passive as well, increasing your deflect, your dodge, and it does not say total defense. Maybe it does that in diamond form. I don't know. Also, regenerate 10% diamond armor per second, does not prevent damage while not in diamond form. Right. So if we go into diamond form, I just use the lunge to get in. That's generally the easiest way. Now it's a totally different skill. It's still your defense passive, increasing your... It now increases your defense and deflect instead of dodge and deflect. It also gives you +2 durability, has some base damage reduction that does not seem to be scaled yet, but also gives you thorns. So when you get hit by a melee attack, you're going to do some physical damage back to the enemy like that. So that's sort of one of the things about hitting Emma in her diamond form is you'll take some damage when you do it. Let's see. Diamond armor absorbs 100% of incoming damage up to a certain amount. Oh, okay. So it's 100% of incoming damage. Regenerate 5% diamond armor when you deal physical damage. So, wow. That's actually really good. So it just shaves any hit that's stronger than your diamond armor, which is a percentage of your maximum health. If you increase... Oh, wow. If you increase maximum health on her just to really, really high amounts, then you will reduce each attack that hits you by a certain amount. And if you have skills that are good at regenerating your diamond armor, you can sort of play that back and forth and become really, really tanky with diamond skin. Alright. That's pretty cool. Then, of course, you've got the taunt effect on this as well. Alright. Now, Diamond Blade Spin Kick is going to do some physical damage and then does increased damage based on your defense. Let's go. Did we put these on the bar? Do we even show Diamond Skin? Oh, wow. I'm so scatterbrained right now, guys. I apologize. Alright. So, here's what happens when you activate Diamond Skin. It's kind of a cool animation, a little bit shinier. You got this big shield up while you've got that active. I think it lasts for about 8 seconds, right? Yeah. Yeah, then you go back to doing what you do. It also... Oh, right, that was the Omega Telepath form, is it applies something to the enemies. Not exactly sure what. Alright, but there's the diamond form. Alright, next we've got a Diamond Bladed Kick. Physical damage. There you go. It's a, it does use Spirit. It's a very small AoE, sort of, to do just some physical damage to anybody close to you. I'm not exactly sure I'd probably use some other skill, like Gleaming Strike, I think. However, Gleaming Strike is a basic. If you're trying to do a basicless build with her, maybe use Diamond Crush. I don't know, we'll see when we get to it. I think you might use Diamond Crush. Alright, Gleaming Strike is going to do physical damage, and again, the damage is increased based on your defense. I think all of her diamond powers increase their damage based on her defense. Yup, they do. And this is going to restore spirit. This is your basic ability in the tree. There you go. Just punch them with your diamond fists. That was backhand. Just ignore that. Every once in a while, you'll kick them in the groin. That is totally a groin kick right there. This dummy does not have groin, but that is definitely a groin kick. BM. Very, very BM Emma. I don't want to fight her, man. Alright. Next, we've got the Diamond Whirlwind. This is a pretty great skill. It's going to do 4 hits of physical damage. Its damage will increase based on your attack speed, and again, its damage will also increase based on your defense. It's going to give you move speed and deflect. Words hard. Deflect when you're using it, and you can see the move speed and deflect that you gain scale quite nicely with points put into the skill, as well as the damage, of course. So, you know, normally I'm just like spinning around doing whatever, but if I were to max this skill out, then I would move a lot faster than I normally do. And one cool thing about this skill, I think, is if we put it on right click, does it? No, it does not. Alright. So it just causes you to spin in place, and then you have to use either left click or move to cursor to actually move. However, that's kind of cool, actually, because if you want to, you can just sit here and spin, do damage to everything around you. You don't have to move like some other skills, and sometimes you don't want to move, so that's nice. Alright, next we've got Diamond Crush. Gonna do physical damage and, again, damage scales off of defense. Where did I put this skill? Alright, there it is. Over. Big, huge, Hulk smash type skill. Yeah, this is definitely going to be your single target spirit spender, boss killer skill kind of thing. Next up, we've got Diamond Backhand and Diamond Axe Heel Kick. These are your 2 cooldown powers that are new in this review here. Diamond Backhand is just going to do some physical damage and also has an execute mechanic on it. Again, its damage is increased based on your defense. Has an 8-second cooldown that it shares with Astral Whip. Here that is, just whap. I love it. I love it. Let's use it one more. Whap. For some reason it's hitting twice. That must be the execute mechanic, which is then hitting in addition to the base hit. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Alright, next we've got Diamond Axe Heel Kick, which is really cool and going to change the Diamond Paragon tree, make it a lot more interesting, I feel. Just the small little skill that you can do. Wow. I like it. It's going to give you a nice AoE crash down kind of skill, a little bit of movement there. The animation, I like that a lot. You know, just this flip and then coming over with that heel. If you landed on somebody's head with that, man, bam! That would hurt. That would hurt. Also applies vulnerability, so you're going to want to use this at the beginning of every rotation. What else we got here? We got Diamond Bladed Spin Kick also applies a damage over time effect when used within the next 8 seconds. So, you know, very similar to Psychic Spear. Over here, if I use Diamond Axe Heel Kick and then this one right here, the Diamond Bladed Spin Kick. So I land on their head and then do that and apply a bleed. Very cool. Very cool. So I now know what Diamond Bladed Spin Kick is all about. That's there just to apply that bleed, I think. And then you'll go back to Diamond Crush. So something sort of like this is going to be what you're generally going to do on a single target. Maybe use that other skill too, that, what do we call it, Diamond Backhand? Yeah, you'll definitely use Diamond Backhand. So, whap. Yeah, that'll work. That's a pretty nice little rotation there. It doesn't really have a whole lot of AoE, but then if you want AoE, Diamond Whirlwind does a great job at that. Alright, finally we get to the brand new ultimate. For the longest time, Emma's ultimate was just, I'm gonna summon a bunch of sparkly dinosaurs. It was kind of cool in the beginning, and then it didn't do any damage for, ever. And it became one of the most joke ultimates in the game. Now, I think she has redeemed herself, calling in these people won't make me want to know more about comics because they're, from what I have read on like Wiki, they're really cool. I'd love to read this comic run and know more about them, but I don't know if I'll ever find the time to do that. It's the Stepford Cuckoos doing huge mental damage to everything around them. Very cool. So I like that new ultimate. I don't know it. I mean, you're invulnerable when you use it. It does huge AoE damage. Maybe that's enough. That's enough for some other characters' ultimates. I generally really enjoy steroid boost. Sort of like Magic's ultimate, how she turns into a demon but can still use all of her other skills while doing all of this other damage. I really like those skills. They seem far more impressive than just boom, huge AoE damage. But then if the damage is high enough on these big AoE damage skills, that can be impressive too. So we'll have to see on when I get my Emma fully geared how this plays out with this new ultimate. But I like it conceptually, and it's probably going to do well damage-wise. We'll see. Alright guys, let me know in the comments below what you thought of Emma. I will, again, leave a link to the feedback thread on the Marvel Heroes forums where you can leave any feedback you have about the character's design, not about my videos or the channel or anything like that. This is specifically for Marvel Heroes. So you definitely let the devs know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see changed, and whether or not Emma is too sparkly for this life. Well, her hair does weird flips and stuff. Alright, whatever guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. Until then, take it easy. Have a good one. Peace.